Today, we need to talk about an update on the SM situation and new information coming out. We also have a rumor of a black female rapper dating TXT Soobin, and then we have people believing that Taehyun was at the club. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure to subscribe with the notification bell on. Grab a dumpling, tastefully mug merch, and let's go. We need to talk about an update for SM and how crazy this all unfolded. And I have a feeling this could be a bit of a scandal. So if you don't know what happened, let me recap just a bit. EXO members Chen, Taehyun, and Xiumin had actually tried to sue SM Entertainment for bad treatment and poor pay. They had an attorney come together to sue over SM's alleged violation with the FTC, and then apparently SM felt like they were only doing this to get out of their contract, which obviously isn't fair because apparently EXO members were already big stars when they re-signed recently. And so they agreed to the new terms happily, allegedly, which makes sense as they probably didn't have a gun to their head during the signing. What recently came out was even more interesting. If you are unaware, there is a Korean social media app called Blind. There is not really an app like this in the US, but this app basically is a place where people can complain about their work environment anonymously. You are apparently vetted and need to show proof of your specific occupation before you can post, but it's a social media app, not a government thing, so the vetting process, I would imagine, is not strict and you could probably very easily lie. I don't know. I don't have one, but of course this has led to a lot of issues of people pretending to work a specific job and saying defamatory things. So just keep that in mind. There was an SM accounting employee. Now, I'm not saying they're lying, but I'm not saying they're 100% factual. I preface this with what I say about the app's vetting, because like everything, take it with a grain of salt. The SM staff talked about how the recent EXO members started to offend this SM staff from the way the EXO members spoke about wanting to see the accounting documents and those private things. The staff claims there is a space where the EXO members can come together and view those documents, but they cannot release those documents publicly. Of course, that makes sense. Every company is allowed to have their secrets. The staff talks about how EXO members refer to the contract as being forced to sign it, but the staff claims that the EXO members were adults and fully consented to the contract. Then even goes on to say that EXO members are top stars and knew exactly what they were signing up for. As in, they're not rookies that would feel scared to not sign or just be glad that they got any offer at all. The staff claimed that EXO was a group that everyone had to tiptoe around, trying to make them happy, and was deeply offended to hear that EXO criticized the label in such a way, and of course led to the label getting severe backlash among the fans. The statement continued to accuse EXO members of wanting money and not really caring about keeping the group together. And one of the last statements talks about how specific artists often accuse SM of poor pay because SM has to pay for services. The statement doesn't specify this, but I am assuming these services they are referring to are services like first-class flights, private cars, things like that. It makes sense that an artist may not be aware of how much this stuff costs since they probably never had to use or pay for those services themselves. The staff then asks everyone to understand that the services cost a lot and would gladly remove those services for them if the artist asks. And that makes sense. So less money on those services and then more money left for the artist. And this is something I've talked about in detail for a while involving things like security, bodyguards, etc. The money for those things need to come from somewhere. If the artist is preferring a bigger pay and you would prefer to not have security like a lot of upcoming idols, then that is why we see those upcoming idols at the airport with no security. The staff then talks about how when the label does remove those premium services, the artists get upset. The staff continues by urging EXO to just leave and go with another label that they might be talking to, which are definitely strong words, right? To hear that the label just wants the artist, or at least an employee, would be interested in them leaving. Now, what is the legitimacy of these claims towards EXO? We may never know. As I said, the app is questionable, and also one staff member just has one perspective. I like to think of one person's perspective as a flat 2D paper, and you need at least 3 to make a triangle and make it solid and real. But this is just one person's opinion, and you can take those opinions as you will. It's interesting to see both sides of the story here. I'm curious if the truth or the third paper is somewhere in the middle. There's been some interesting stories coming out, and I like to think it's because artists feel they have more freedom to do whatever they want to do. With the pandemic and the lockdown that occurred, I think many artists and labels realized that the artists can actually make just as much money, if not more, from doing endorsements, YouTube videos, their own reality shows, merch, and just producing music videos for one-off singles versus the traditional route of needing to tour. It used to be that touring would make the bulk of the money, but I just have a hunch that a lot of labels realize there's money elsewhere as well, and maybe more lucrative. After all, we have seen influencers like Logan Paul literally just sell energy drinks and make like $100 million without needing to sell out 100 stadium shows. Of course, labels take note of this stuff. But why am I bringing this up? Because this means that a lot of artists and groups probably have a lot more spare time on their hands than they ever did before. Spare time to possibly focus on their life and do whatever they want. Now, this is just a theory. Of course, many artists are still busy, if not more, doing endorsements and many other things I've mentioned earlier. And if you do want to see some of the reality show moments from groups like BTS, Stray Kids, we do react to those show moments over on Patreon. We have a $1 tier that is open where we watch all the shows together and laugh. I will link the Patreon in the description if you're interested. Now, it was rumored that TXT Taehyun was actually at the club with 2 girls. People were saying that Taehyun had some time off and decided to go to town. He was allegedly in the club with a girl. Some people were saying 2 girls. I only see 1 girl in the video. For the most part, I have seen the fandom extremely good about this and not making it a huge deal, but a lot of the other people are mad about it or trying to make it a big deal. Taehyun was allegedly with the girl in the front who was dancing in front of him, and people think that that's his girlfriend. The others think that he was hooking up with a girl there. Some were saying that he was making out with her or getting touchy. We don't really see that, but we do see 2 people dancing. I don't know what the big deal is here. He could literally just have met a girl and started dancing. It could be his friend or it could be his girlfriend. It's such a weird thing here because if male K-pop idols were all virgins, they would for sure get mocked and made fun of by everyone. If they're having sex or in a relationship, then apparently they're a bad influence. So it's like, what are they supposed to do? Only sleep with the fans that think that they're in a relationship with them? There's more dating rumors that go around, and of course one involving Soobin. Every girl that gets next to TXT, the fans ask the girl to leave Soobin for the fandom because it seems like a lot of girls love him. And of course, Moas love him as well. There's this female black rapper named Leray. She is upcoming and she was actually recently spotted wearing a TXT shirt. This is where the fandom took notice of her. When she posted on Twitter that she will be answering any questions that her fans had, some of them asked her what her favorite member of TXT was. Koi answered that she thinks all of them are cute, and what a great answer. This way she upsets no one. When Koi responded to say that they felt like the boys were sexy, a lot of Moas kept trying to ask her to spare Soobin and leave Soobin for the fandom. I think this is so funny that a celebrity thinking that the idols are sexy means that they will go after the idol, and on top of that, the idol would be interested. Of course, Koi is sexy too, and they would all make a cute couple together, but dating is so much more than just 2 people looking sexy together. They have to have a common interest and everything. The fandom likes to think that anyone the boys date would result in a 3-year-long relationship or something, whereas I'm sure everyone knows that before you get into a long relationship, you must kiss a few frogs. Aside from that, I don't think the members are looking to date right now. Soobin is also very young and he has plenty of time before he would even possibly get pressure to date, because of course they're going to get pressure to date. Now, that is just how it goes. This is going to be their parents asking them to go find a lover and have children. But I want to take this time to say, even if the 2 are dating, we can accept that as the fans and love the boys regardless. And this goes even if Taehyun is dating this girl we see in the club. Totally not a big deal, and I hope the boys do eventually find someone they love and can spend time with. It gets lonely, especially if you're successful in the entertainment industry, because most of your friends back home or whatever likely do not understand what you're going through or what's happening in your life. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.